Millions of people are watching a baby monkey cling to a lifeless stuffed toy right now. The internet is flooded with outrage, with grief, and with a desperate, pathetic plea for someone to step in and save him. But the truth is, the overwhelming emotional reaction to this video has very little to do with the monkey, and absolutely everything to do with us. We are not crying for a primate in a Japanese zoo. We are mourning our own unresolved trauma. We are grieving the parts of ourselves that were left behind. Today, we are going to strip away the viral sensationalism and the fake internet empathy. We are going to look at the brutal, unfiltered psychology behind this footage. We are going to examine the terrifying reality of abandonment, the illusion of comfort, and why society is instinctively wired to crush those who lack a foundation. His name is Punch. He was born into captivity, but his suffering is entirely natural. The narrative spreading online is that his mother died, but the reality is far more psychologically devastating. She is alive. She simply rejected him, whether due to the stress of her environment, physical exhaustion, or a complete lack of maternal instinct. She looked at her offspring and abandoned him at birth. This was not an accident. It was a biological refusal to care. Think about the psychological weight of that, to be rejected by the very entity that is biologically programmed to protect you. In human psychology, maternal rejection is one of the most destructive forces a mind can endure. It shatters the foundational belief that the world is a safe place. To keep this infant from dying of pure physiological distress, zookeepers introduced a surrogate. They gave him a large, inanimate stuffed toy, and Punch clung to it as if his life depended on it, because in his primitive mind it does. If you understand psychology, you know exactly what you are looking at. In the 1950s, psychologist Harry Harlow conducted a series of deeply controversial, often cruel experiments on rhesus monkeys. He took infants away from their mothers immediately after birth and placed them in isolation. He gave them two artificial surrogates. One was made of cold, hard wire but provided milk. The other was made of soft terry cloth but provided absolutely no nourishment. Logical survival dictates the monkey should bond with the food source. But that is not what happened. The monkeys spent nearly all their time clinging to the soft cloth mother, only reaching over to the wire mother when they were starving, and then immediately rushing back to the cloth. Harlow called this contact comfort. He proved that the psychological need for security, physical warmth, and the illusion of safety is more powerful than the biological drive to eat. A starving brain will choose a fake hug over real food. But Harlow went further, and this is the part people do not like to talk about. He created what he called the pit of despair. He isolated monkeys completely, giving them no mother at all. Not even a fake one. Those monkeys lost their minds. They engaged in severe self-mutilation, stared blankly into space, and entirely lost the ability to socialize. When introduced to other monkeys, they didn't know how to play, how to fight, or how to mate. They were psychologically broken beyond repair. The zookeepers know this. They gave Punch the toy so he wouldn't end up in his own pit of despair. But look at him. He is starving for a connection that does not exist. That stuffed toy cannot protect him. It cannot teach him. It cannot love him back. It is a lifeless sponge absorbing his desperation. It is a ghost. Now I want you to ask yourself a very uncomfortable question. How many humans do the exact same thing? How many of us, starved of genuine emotional security in our formative years, cling to inanimate, lifeless substitutes? We cling to toxic relationships that offer no real nourishment but provide the illusion of not being alone. We cling to addictions. We cling to mindless scrolling, to the validation of strangers on the internet, to accumulating wealth, or to the fake curated lifestyles you see on social media. We are all just terrified infants, clinging to our own versions of a stuffed toy, desperately hoping it will make the world feel less cold. Punch's behavior is not just a tragic animal fact. It is a mirror reflecting the human coping mechanism when we are deprived of authentic connection. We will hallucinate safety in whatever soft lie we can wrap our arms around, but the illusion of safety eventually shatters. The toy cannot protect you from the real world. A second video recently surfaced, showing Punch being dragged, pulled, and seemingly tortured by the older monkeys in his enclosure. The internet erupted again. People called it bullying. They demanded the zookeepers intervene, punish the aggressors, and put Punch back in a safe little box with his toy. This is where human emotion completely blinds us to the cold mechanics of nature and to the reality of human society. What you are witnessing in that second video is not bullying. It is socialization, and it is brutal. Primate societies, much like human societies, are built on strict, unforgiving dominance hierarchies. There is no equality. You have a rank, and you must know your place. Normally, an infant monkey navigates this treacherous social ladder under the fierce protection of its mother. The mother acts as a shield, a mediator, and a guide. She dictates how far the others can go, but Punch has no mother. He has no shield. He only has a fake toy that cannot defend him. When the zookeepers try to integrate him into the group, he is thrown to the wolves. The older monkeys are hazing him. They are violently establishing his rank at the absolute bottom of the hierarchy. If zookeepers step in and save him every time he is dragged, he will never learn the rules of his own species. He will never understand submission, dominance, or group dynamics. He will become a permanent outcast, and in nature, an outcast is a dead animal. The group will eventually kill him if he does not learn how to exist within their brutal system. The parallel to human psychology here is undeniable, and it is entirely uncomfortable. When a human child grows up with severe neglect or abandonment, they enter the adult world without a psychological shield. They lack the foundational self-worth that is normally built by a secure attachment to a caregiver, and society, just like that primate enclosure, can smell vulnerability. The real world does not accommodate trauma. It exploits it. People without secure boundaries are routinely dragged and pulled by the hierarchies of the workplace, by narcissistic partners, and by a culture that preys on the insecure. We watch Punch being dragged in the dirt and we feel sick to our stomachs, but we walk past humans, experiencing the exact same social brutalization every single day. We watch people get crushed by corporate ladders, destroyed by predatory relationships, and alienated by social cliques. The rules of the hierarchy dictate that the weak are tested. If they cannot stand their ground, they are subjugated. Punch is learning a lesson that many humans never survive learning. So why does this specific video trigger such a massive collective breakdown online? Why are millions of people crying over a monkey? The answer lies in a psychological phenomenon called anthropomorphism. We project human traits, emotions, and intentions onto non-human entities. We look at Punch and we do not see a macaque monkey operating on primal instinct. We see a human baby, but it goes much deeper than surface-level projection. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung spoke extensively about the shadow, the unconscious parts of our personality that we refuse to acknowledge. Our weaknesses, our repressed traumas, our profound feelings of inadequacy. When you watch that baby monkey being abandoned by its mother, clinging to a fake source of comfort and getting crushed by the weight of its society, your subconscious is violently triggered. You are not crying for Punch. You are crying for the part of yourself that feels abandoned. You are mourning the times you had to face a brutal world without a shield. You are grieving the pathetic, lifeless things you had to cling to just to survive your own loneliness. People online screaming for the zookeepers to save the monkey are suffering from a profound savior complex. They want a higher power to step in and save the monkey because they are desperately waiting for someone to step in and save them. They want someone to pull them out of their toxic workplace, out of their miserable marriage, out of their own crushing depression. But the zookeepers aren't coming to save Punch, and no one is coming to save you. Nature does not sugarcoat reality, and neither should we. Punch's life is a tragedy of circumstance, yes, but it is also a masterclass in survival. He is doing exactly what he must do to endure an environment that gave him absolutely nothing. He is taking the beatings because he has to. He is clinging to the toy because he has to. He is adapting to the cruelty of his reality. The next time you see a viral video that makes you feel an overwhelming sense of despair, take a step back, stop looking at the screen, and start looking inward. Ask yourself what wound that video just reopened, because the things that make us cry the hardest for others are almost always the things we have not forgiven in ourselves. We use empathy as a mask to hide our own unprocessed grief. Punch will either learn to survive at the bottom of the hierarchy or he will perish. That is the unfiltered truth of his existence. What you decide to do with your own trauma and what lifeless toys you decide to finally let go of is entirely up to you.